Let's be honest, from The Athletic. Well, right now you can get a subscription. I don't know what the deal is, but it's probably something like 10 years for a penny. I see these deals all the time. They're fantastic. And I'm completely not jealous at all. You know why? Because you get what you pay for, and I pay for wonderful coverage of all sports, curated in just the way I'd like. It's Sam Amick. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, David. I swear it's going to be like 2050, and you're going to still be going to this bit.
Yeah, it's a great bit. By the way, you sound fine.
All right. Good to hear. I don't feel fine.
Yeah,
but
you don't sound bad.
Yeah. That's all right. I'm going to bring the energy. What do we got today?
Well, I got a phone call from my wife yesterday. It was a very excited phone call. She was very excitable. You know, my wife is not an excitable person at all. She's like the human version of Grumpy Cat. And she calls me, and she's very excited. And so, of course, I'm thinking, oh, my God, did you fall? Because she had the knee surgery, the kids, something, whatever. She goes, it's Sam. And I go, oh, my God, what happened to Sam? She goes, he's on CNN.
Oh.
She was legitimately, as a matter of fact, we shared a moment in the car where we were both legitimately excited. It's not like you're not a national reporter. It's not like you haven't been a national reporter forever. And it's not like you haven't had some pretty awesome moments. But, you know, just seeing you on national TV, that was the moment of the day for my wife yesterday. That's how big of fans we are, Sam.
I'm flattered. Thank you, Melissa. I thought you were saying it's Sam. He's the one who fell down. You know, this is very different. No, it was kind of fun. Yeah, it was the Jake Tapper show. I think it's funny. The last time I did that, you talk about a little moment in time, was I went, actually this was MSNBC, not CNN, but, you know, a political show.
Yeah.
Was Khris Wallace during the Donald Sterling stuff. And I'll never forget, you talk about being out of your element. They had a split screen. You know, I have no problem giving perspective on the NBA and race issues within the NBA, but they had a split screen where it was Khris hosting myself on one side of the screen and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the other.
Jeez. Yeah.
No pressure.
And I'm sitting there going, yeah, no pressure, no pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this was good. It was all about the Jerry West drama with HBO and how he's demanding a retraction and damages from them. So
he should get it. I think he should get that.
Are you watching?
I've watched the first episode.
I've watched all of them.
To be honest, I was like, it's okay. But I'll watch the rest of it. Do you think he should get a retraction? That sucks. If he's not a drinker, he didn't throw stuff out the window, and he wasn't cantankerous and screamy.
They make him look like the angriest man alive on that show.
And then, you know what? You shouldn't be able to do that for free speech. No, okay, well, free speech. Well, if I was like, Jay beats kittens, you know, like that, I shouldn't be able to say that if it's not true.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I mean, legally, they're very protected. But yeah. I think ethically, here's my thing, and I don't ever want to. I'm a very pro writer for obvious reasons, but like what I am confused by, where I think his side has a case, is that the source material was Jeff Pearlman's book, Showtime.
Yeah.
And if you read the book, Jeff did not portray Jerry this way. So they are trying to argue, you know, actual malice, where it's like somebody on the show made a choice to, you know, veer very far away from the source material to turn him into not only a cartoon character type personality, but I think if I was Jerry, the part that would bother me is like there's not even a hat tip to, like, you know, his stature within the NBA. It's like, no, he's an idiot. He's an absolute buffoon, and he's a jerk. So, you know, it's hard because, I mean, Adam McKay, as you guys know, you're talking Vice and Anchorman and you know, Don't Look Up and all these things. Yeah. So no, it's an interesting little tale, but yeah.
Well, Sam, I mean, the playoffs so far have been an interesting tale. One of injuries, we were talking about it earlier, how injuries are kind of dominating both guys going out versus guys coming in. In your opinion, with Booker missing a couple games for Phoenix, we still don't know the status of Khris Middleton, how many games he's going to miss. Which injury so far do you think is hampered or is going to hamper a team that it's happened to so far in the playoffs?
The Devin Booker one is the one that worried me the most. I mean, the Pelicans look pretty good, right? You know, Ingram is playing well. McCollum is doing good things, and they got a little swagger after winning that game too in Phoenix. So if I was the Suns, you know, you got a hamstring that he's dealt with. It was the other hamstring earlier in the year, but I think it might be a little while till he's back. And you're talking about him missing Game 3 and Game 4. So that one is a concern. Because even if you get through the Pelicans, It's just when you have championship aspirations, there's like this kind of compound tax element, right? Where like if you're tired by the time the first round is over, that's a problem. So that one jumps out to me. What was the other one you mentioned, Jay?
The Middleton injury with the Bucks.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. I mean, that's really bad. Yeah. And not only that, am I right? Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer just kind of casually mentions it after the game.
Yeah.
When Middleton, I'm sure you guys are watching, like, first half, the commentary was like, what's wrong with Khris? And obviously there was something wrong with Khris. He wasn't playing very well. That's a huge one because they're in a dogfight too with Chicago, and they could very well lose that series.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us. Sam, I want to bounce back and forth. We were talking about we start out talking about ethics, and I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you can, whatever. You're light on your feet. But this is something we were talking about earlier. There's actually two things from earlier we want to bring up with you. Number one, it's made the rounds. The Suns lost to the Pelicans, as we just talked about. It's 1-1. That's now a 14-game losing streak for Chris Paul and Scott Foster ref games since 2014. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yep.
I go back to May of 2015, and I'm going to read you a couple paragraphs here. NBA referee Tim Donaghy made repeated phone calls to a second referee at the same time he provided inside information to professional gamblers during the course of the 06-07 season, according to court documents and phone records obtained by FoxNews.com. The records show Donaghy placed 134 calls to Scott Foster, more than the 126 calls Donaghy made to his bookie between October of 06 and April of 07, the exact period during which he has confessed to either betting on games or passing on game information to gamblers. The majority of the phone calls lasted no more than 2 minutes and occurred prior to and after games Donaghy officiated and on which he admits wagering. Now, I understand Tim Donaghy's credibility is whatever, but these are court records. These are documents, and I want to be clear. I'm not trying to connect the Chris Paul and Donaghy things other than to say this. It's there. And Sam, I don't know if you were aware of the second part of what I said, but I think as an NBA fan, first and foremost, I sure would like to know a little bit more about that and at the very least know why those shouldn't be connected and why Scott Foster is 100% innocent of any wrongdoing at any time. I'd like to know that. Is that a fair question?
Hey, you're coming in hot today.
Just saying, I'm fired up about this, obviously, as a Kings fan.
I mean, the inference, Sam, why haven't you done your job?
No. I promise that's
I'm kidding.
Gotcha.
So, yes, I was fully aware of the phone calls, fully aware of the history. I don't have a great answer for you other than, and this is where I just got to own the fact that, what year are we talking with the Donaghy stuff?
The 15-16 is when the story came out, at least the records and all that. So about 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth circling back and trying to get more clarity with the NBA because I'll be honest with you that my only response has been that the league certainly claims to have investigated the connections and the concerns that were raised, and that for whatever reason they reached the conclusion that they were still comfortable with Scott being not only an official, but being one of the most kind of influential officials of all of them. He's legitimately, you talk about their in-house rating system and the way they are evaluated. Scott Foster is a first-team All-NBA referee by their metrics. And they will tell you that consistently. So they not only say that there's nothing to see there, they kind of prop him up as probably top three, if not the best ref in the league.
I sure would like to see that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the streak is wild. Sometimes, some of these streaks, I do cringe a little bit when I see connections being made that maybe shouldn't be made. So, I'm trying to pull it up here. There's a referee called, I'm sorry, not a referee. There's a Twitter account that's like NBA refs, and I can't find it quickly enough.
Sure.
But Eric Lewis, to give you another one, I forget the player, but Eric Lewis, apparently another official, is on a 15-game winning streak with a certain player, which that's obviously the opposite of this. But yeah, I don't know. It would be great for Scott's case and the NBA's case if there were no curious themes or connections or streaks around him ever again.
And just to close it out, because we're out of time, Sam, anyone sees that, they're going to start thinking. But for all I know, Scott is 100% on the up and up, super ethical. This is all just a dumb coincidence. And when you call a man, especially whose credibility, his job relies on his credibility, I have no interest in doing that. I have no interest in calling Scott Foster's credibility into account whatsoever, especially a very possibly, if not likely, innocent person. But my God, what you just said, I kind of wish it would get circled back enough so that the lay fan, myself included, could know what his ratings are, know what his metrics are, and say, okay, much ado about nothing. There's smoke, but there's absolutely zero fire whatsoever.
Right.
So,
as a quick aside, I found the other stat. Boston has won 13 straight, including 4 playoff games, with Eric Lewis officiating.
Oh, wow.
That account, if people find it interesting, at NBA Ref Stats, STATS stats. So I hear you. Okay. We don't cover the referees that closely. You know that. That's part of where the blind spot is. You know what I mean? And now, I mean, clearly, I say this somewhat kiddingly, Dave. I'm probably compromised. Scott Foster was my pickleball teacher in the bubble. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Sam, it's all part of the big conspiracy, capital C, buddy. Take some time. Listen, 2 pieces of advice. Chicken soup. If you want to mix it up, a bowl of what's called war wonton soup, which is my go-to whenever I'm sick. That's chicken soup across the pond. Eat well, get better, and stop being such a burden to your wife having to take care of you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
See you, buddy. All right, we will take a